After the death of Moses, Joshua led the Israelites into the Promised Land. Over the span of more than 300 years, they fought many battles to maintain Canaan. Before we proceed, please show your support by following us on your favorite social media platform. Now let's dive into the era of the Judges. The book of Judges begins soon after Joshua's death and revisits the events following the conquest of Canaan to the coronation of King Saul as the first king of Israel by the prophet Samuel. The period of the Judges spans more than 300 years, from around 1383 BC to 1052 BC. As explained in the book of Judges, the son of Kenaz and younger brother of Caleb, Othniel from the tribe of Judah, became the first judge of Israel. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites fell into sin and idolatry, which led to their oppression by Cushan-Rishathaim, the king of Mesopotamia, for 8 years. As explained in Judges chapter 3, verses 9 to 10, the Israelites cried for help, and God raised Othniel as a deliverer. Empowered by the Spirit of the Lord, Othniel led Israel to victory over Cushan-Rishathaim. Othniel's leadership brought peace to Israel for 40 years. His tenure as judge marked the beginning of a series of judges who would lead Israel through cycles of sin, oppression, repentance, and deliverance. His name Othniel means Lion of God in Hebrew, symbolizing his strength and divine empowerment. The second judge, Ehud, was from the tribe of Benjamin. According to Judges 3, verses 12 to 30, the Israelites were oppressed by Eglon, the king of Moab, for 18 years. Ehud was chosen to deliver a tribute to King Eglon. He crafted a double-edged sword and concealed it on his right thigh, taking advantage of his left-handedness. Ehud managed to get a private audience with Eglon under the pretense of delivering a secret message from God. He then used this opportunity to stab and kill the king. After killing Eglon, Ehud escaped and rallied the Israelites and led them to defeat the Moabites, securing peace for 80 years. According to Judges chapter 3 and chapter 5, Shamgar was the third judge of Israel. Despite being a lesser-known figure, his actions were significant. Shamgar is most famous for killing 600 Philistines with an ox goad, a farming tool used to prod cattle. This act of bravery delivered Israel from its enemies and brought temporary relief from Philistine oppression. One of the most significant women in the Bible, Deborah, was a prophetess and the fourth judge of Israel. She is the only female judge mentioned in the Bible. According to Judges chapters 4 and 5, Deborah held court under the palm of Deborah, where she settled disputes and provided guidance to the Israelites. And Deborah played a crucial role in the battle against the Canaanite king Jabin and his commander Sisera. Deborah summoned Barak, an Israelite general, and instructed him to lead an army against Sisera's forces. Under Deborah's leadership, and with Barak's military prowess, the Israelites achieved a significant victory over the Canaanites. This victory is celebrated in the Song of Deborah, found in Judges 5, one of the oldest sections in the Bible, and provides a poetic account of the battles. The fifth judge, Gideon, was the youngest in his family and from the tribe of Manasseh. At the time, the Israelites were oppressed by the Midianites. An angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon while he was threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites. The angel called him a mighty man of valor and told him God had chosen him to deliver Israel from Midianite oppression. Gideon was initially doubtful and asked for signs to confirm God's will. He famously laid out a fleece, asking God to make it wet with dew while keeping the ground dry, and then the reverse. Gideon's first task was to destroy his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. He did this at night to avoid confrontation. Gideon gathered an army, but God instructed him to reduce the number of soldiers to just 300 to demonstrate that the victory would be by God's power, not human strength. As delineated in Judges chapter 7, God told Gideon that his army was too large and that Israel might boast about their strength if they won with such a large force. So Gideon announced that anyone fearful and afraid could leave. This reduced the army from 32,000 to 10,000 men. God then instructed Gideon to take the remaining men to the water and observe how they drank. Those who lapped the water with their tongues, like dogs, were separated from those who knelt down to drink. Only 300 men lapped the water with their hands to their mouths. Gideon divided his 300 men into 3 groups of 100 each. He equipped each man with a trumpet, an empty jar, and a torch inside the jar. During the night, Gideon and his men approached the Midianite camp. At Gideon's signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed the jars to reveal the torches, and shouted, A sword for the Lord and Gideon! The sudden noise, lights, and shouting caused confusion and panic among the Midianites. Believing they were under a massive attack, the Midianites fled and turned on each other in the chaos. Gideon's men pursued the fleeing Midianites, and with the help of other Israelite tribes, they defeated the remaining forces. Gideon led Israel to peace for 40 years. Despite his initial reluctance, he became a key figure in delivering Israel from its enemies. Thank you for joining us. If you found the content engaging, please show your support by following us on your favorite social media platform. Join us next time as we discuss the remaining judges, as explained in the Book of Judges.